it's interesting when people ask me like, so how was it growing up in Germany? I want to say it has pros and cons, being that like our people are less represented over there. So growing up, we did face a lot of like racism and injustice and oppression, and like being raised by a black mother, we had to see a lot of stuff growing up. Me and my brothers, that were like her facing a lot of oppression, her facing a lot of like racist things.
Mm.
And then moving to the U.S., I just felt like the environment's different because I'm more around my people, so I felt very
Yeah.
comfortable being around like our people, where I could really be myself and like be like, okay, like this feels right, and like I don't know how deep we want to get with it, but like in the '90s, my brother's dad was killed out there, and that was because of racism. He was protecting my mom's, and like life happened. We ended up staying up over there, but growing up, we'd always go back and forth between Germany and Miami. That's where my mom's side of the family's at. So my mom's from Haiti, so all my Caribbean family is in Miami and in New York. So growing up, thankfully, my mom was always, we got to go back to stay in touch with our family. So I always got like a perspective of being like in two different demographics and like social environments growing up.
I never grew up with educators that look like myself. So
100.
I feel like honestly, like we are that new wave that make being wise, being smart, being educated cool, right?
Absolutely.
Wisdom is a powerful tool, but oftentimes we might neglect it because of who it's coming from. You feel me? But if we can chop it up with a young buck and really implant a seed, man, like it's more than just education at that point. You know what I'm saying?
What's going on, beautiful people? This is the Let's Grow Together podcast where
Yeah,
diverse
yeah.
individuals and communities come to serve, connect, and grow in the areas that they're most passionate about. Marcus, man, another week, another podcast. How you feeling, brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 2024 treating us good so far. Feels good to bounce back. Your boy was under the weather, was looking like a little pitiful little boy all over again up under the covers. Wifey was catering to me. She put me on some ashwagandha, boy. I ain't know what that was, but that joint changed my life, boy. That and some zinc got me through. But yeah, man, all is well. All is well, bro. From a check-in perspective, I was telling you just earlier, man. I just spent some time like me and Avery just literally just had a roast battle, bro. And when I tell you like this girl is fired, this girl told me she said she said you need to stop talking to me with your rusty, crusty barbecue chips with your barbecue chip. What she say with your roasted barbecue lips. And bro, I ain't had nothing to say. She won.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she fired me up, bro. We was going at it. That was great in preparation of setting up our college leadership retreat for Roots. We're gonna take the young bucks paintballing, man. So that's gonna be a phenomenal time. So yeah, just working on a lot of good stuff, but enjoying Ave in the downtime in the meantime as well, man. So getting to it, man. What about yourself? How's everything in your realm?
Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to Ave, man, for roasting her dad, man. It's funny because I be thinking sometimes like, what do kids come up with this stuff? Like, where do you get the time
Man,
or the imagination to even come up with that, man? But that's super dope, man. Life is good. You know what I mean? Life is great, man. We just got back in the programs, man. We were rapping, just before this, and I was telling you it's been extremely cold in Chicago, man. I think right now it's 4 degrees with a real feel of -8. So it's
tough.
really chilly, man. So I'm back here in my office, man. A little cold, man. Just trying to bring the podcast to y'all. But other than that, man, feeling good. I had a super dope weekend, bro. My girl had like a kickback with her family members and stuff, and they had a conversation that started to kind of turn left, and basically, one of the older aunts made a comment to the younger, one of the younger cousins, and she kind of told her like, man, you just triggered me, and man,
Mm.
bro, we talk about restorative justice and just practicing, just being restorative practitioners. My girl randomly got them in a circle. Like I don't know who told her to
Wow.
let's circle up. You know what I mean? But she got them to get in a circle. And what was even doper is I saw her with like something in her hand. So we got cameras at the crib, and so I kind of tuned in via the camera, and I heard her like, man, it's the talking piece. Whoever has the talking piece has the floor. And so they went around and just kind of talked about the issue that was brought up, and man, they made some tremendous progress. And so I had told my girl after the fact, like, man, I'm tremendously proud of you. Like, what made you do that? She was like, man, I just felt like that was the best way to, for them to have the constructive conversation. And I was like, bro, it's so dope. I'm like, man, I'm proud of you. But I, of course, man, being me, I'm like, let me add some value though. I was like, man, I'm like, man, you could have did something a little bit differently and you would have got a better effect. But But nonetheless, bro, I was super proud of her for even using the framework because I've never like given her the blueprint. Like I've talked to her about what we do, but to see her put that in action, bro, I felt like it was a proud spouse moment.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one, I mean, that shows just how applicable it was in that situation, and then
Yeah,
two, it shows the impact you've obviously had on her from some of those conversations. Like she took bits and pieces to actually apply. Like that's dope all around, man. I definitely give you your flowers in the midst of it because I'm pretty sure you kind of sparked her throughout those conversations to even think that this is a situation we can leverage this.
that's
That's
real.
huge, man. That's
That's real,
huge.
man. Man, I appreciate it. It's funny, man. I got my birthday coming up next week, and it's funny
Mm.
because I'm not sure if I want to celebrate it or not. And
What?
yeah, man, it's
Why
interesting.
not?
Man, it's just this philosophy, man, where sometimes you don't feel like you got anything worth celebrating, right? But
Mm.
I'm kind of torn because I was talking to my mentor, and he was just like, man, you got another day to breathe. You got another opportunity and chance to go after whatever it is you want. So that's enough to celebrate. So I'm like, man, I hear you. So I'm kind of torn, but it's actually interesting. Because our guest, man, he actually had a similar kind of I guess I want to say belief for a little bit of time. So we're gonna bring him on, and I'm gonna let him tell y'all a little bit about himself. So without further ado, my guest, Sidney. What's good? What's
Peace,
good,
y'all.
family?
Peace.
Welcome,
How's it
welcome.
going, man? Happy Tuesday. Peace, brothers.
Yes,
Blessed to be
yes,
here with y'all tonight, man. Appreciate y'all inviting me in today.
yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yeah, give us a little bit of background, Sydney. For those individuals who don't know you, don't follow you, don't know about the platforms you got going on. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, good brother.
Yes, sir, for sure. So my name is Sidney Miles-Francois-Friis. I'm a health and lifestyle coach, a community organizer, youth developer, entrepreneur. I do modeling on the side as well, and I like to write poetry and spoken word to express myself. I was born and raised in Munich, Germany, and Miami, Florida, and I've been in Chicago for the past 10 years of my life. I came to Chicago to play college football and pursue my academic career, and moved here in 2015. Been here for almost 10 years. Grateful to be in this city. I love Chicago a lot. It helped me become a better man and build an environment around me where I could be around like-minded people and just inspire our people and like do a lot of youth developing and just community organizing. I'm very grateful and things are going well. The new year is starting off well. That's a little bit about myself. And yeah, I'm excited to tap into this podcast with y'all.
Okay, good. Hey, so
Phenomenal,
you out there
phenomenal.
freezing in Chicago too?
Man, it's no joke for real.
Nah, James was
It's
telling me,
cold for
but
sure.
you mentioned you're a health and lifestyle coach.
Yes, sir.
So I don't hear that too often. Can you give me a little bit of content of like what that entails?
Yeah, for sure. So, growing up, my mom was a coach, and both my brothers are coaches as well. So, I like to say I was raised in a fitness household or in a very health-oriented household. So, growing up, my OG would always, teach us tips and tricks of how to like go about health in a cool way, like in a way where it's doable. So, we wouldn't have like no candy in the household, no soda in the household. And growing up, we'd always see my mom train her clients. She had a gym throughout her career too. So I was always raised in that environment of like, going out to play sports and like going out to do healthy things to stay in good environments gratefully. And like, yeah, I want to say she led by example. My pops was also very much into fitness. And that was just my surrounding growing up. Like both my bros are athletes who play multiple different sports. So it's really been like our lifestyle growing up. And like now I like to teach people when I train clients or I'm in community how to just adjust by like making healthy habits and like changing their lifestyle by like being accountable, holding each other accountable, being consistent with your fitness and your workout routine and like reading the right things, putting the right things into your mind, into your body. So that's like to me health and lifestyle. You're teaching people health through the physical practice and then lifestyle through like tapping into their mind and teaching them how to look at things differently and like, live healthy.
Yo,
Mm.
that's dope. That's dope. Man, you kind of talked a little bit about how you grew up. Like talk about like what it's like growing up in a different country and then transitioning over here to Miami and then Chicago. Like what are some of the differences and some of the things that you've liked about Chicago and so far?
So I was just asked that question earlier too. Actually, it's interesting when people ask me like, "So how was it growing up in Germany?" I want to say it has pros and cons, being that like our people are less represented over there. So growing up, we did face a lot of like racism and injustice and oppression, and like being raised by a black mother, we had to see a lot of stuff growing up. Me and my brothers that were like her facing a lot of oppression, her facing a lot of like racist things.
Mm.
And then moving to the U.S., I just felt like the environment is different because I'm more around my people, so I felt very
Yeah.
comfortable being around like our people where I could really be myself and like be like, okay, like this feels right. And like I don't know how deep we want to get with it, but like in the '90s, my brother's dad was killed out there, and that was because of racism. He was protecting my mom's, and like life happened. We ended up staying up over there, but growing up, we'd always go back and forth between Germany and Miami. That's where my mom's side of the family's at. So my mom's from Haiti, so all my Caribbean family is in Miami and in New York. So growing up, thankfully, my mom was always, we got to go back to stay in touch with our family. So I always got like a perspective of being like in two different demographics and like social environments growing up. So I'd be either in Germany or I'd be in Miami or in Brooklyn, and I'd see like everything from different perspectives, like how you're perceived by your community, how people look at you, how people expect you to act in certain environments. And like I could say very much so, like in Germany, like unfortunately a lot of times they want you to be like a second class citizen if you like
Mm-hmm.
are a minority or like a foreigner, and like that stuff don't fly with us. Like my mom never raised us like that, but like you could tell that like systematically they try to implement that into the people like that, but like we don't go for that. So like when I moved over here, I felt like very much accepted, and like yeah, Chicago just kind of made it for me where I'm like, nah, I could really be in an environment where like my people rock with me the long way. I could be my best self, and it's no like you gotta be this way, you gotta be that way. Nah, express yourself, be you, be proud of where you come from. Let's learn more about where you come from, like more that type of vibe. But again, like not saying it's just bad things, but it's a lot of things that to this day are being highlighted now where it's like it's a lot of corruption, a lot of racism, a lot of oppression going on, and like whole Western world, Eurocentrism being pushed in the whole Western world. So it's really like being raised over there. I realized like a lot of that stems from the root from over there, like how people are like culturally conditioned and stuff like that. And like I've been doing a lot of like reading and research and understanding self more and like our communities more, but like that's a little bit about like growing up over there. Nature's fire though, it's beautiful nature. The mountains is nice, and you meet good people still everywhere. So it's a lot of Africans, Middle Eastern people there too. Also cool German folks, but like it's just you could tell that there's like still like a barrier between certain people where it's like, oh, you're a foreigner, you don't belong here. So it's like you get kind of both. You get what I'm saying?
Got you.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that stigma. It definitely makes sense. Now, were you there because of like military or what? What was kind of just out of out of out of
So
just
my
one
OG,
impact? What? Yeah. Go ahead.
that's also what people ask me all the time because like a lot of Americans are over there because of military. And funny enough, actually, my mom was in Brooklyn. She studied at NYU, and she met a lot of people that was traveling a lot. So she met people that was going back and forth between Europe and the U.S. And then she met my brother's dad, I believe, at an art school in New York. And they went to Germany, and then they had my oldest brother. And in 1991, what I had mentioned earlier, they were over there, and then my brother's dad was killed over there. And
Mm,
life happened. My mom ended up staying over there. She had my middle brother, me, after that. Got married to my father, and my brother's grandma is over there. So his German grandma, basically, she raised all three of us too. But my mom was just like, I'm gonna stay here for a couple years and just have his grandmother still experience him as a baby. She wanted to go back to New York, and then life just ended up happening. She got a lot of good opportunities with like fitness and like wellness out there. People received her well as a coach out there because like she's one of the first people I want to say like a black woman to come from America and like push fitness so heavy because fitness been
That's
very
dope.
big always. So like it's one of my goals to also get her into the Black History books of what she's doing over there and did over there. Because
more.
shout out to her,
More.
very strong woman. But yeah, that's a little bit like about how we got over there. Like no military, we just ended up getting over there. Like our people have been immigrants from when we left Haiti, and then like from there to Germany. But that's how life just kind of happened.
Hey, that's so dope, man. Cause one thing I love about you, man, you lead with love. Like, I see your
Thank
content,
you.
man. You in different locations, like you travel a lot, and I noticed like you will talk to the people, like you legitimately would talk to the people, and you literally are trying to learn like what are their pain points, what are they going through, what are the things they're thinking about. So shout out to you. So like, where did that
Thank you,
come
brother.
from? Where did that concept come from? Leading with love and understanding, um, that sharing love is more important than just just doing your own thing.
Mm. I want to say gratefully that I was in a household where both my parents were able to pour into me and my brothers in a way where we understood, even if we didn't have all financial like wealth and freedom, that like care and genuine like neighborly love was always a very big thing. And my dad is also a very genuine person, I could say, and like very like global thinker and like global perspective. So they always taught us to like be open to different cultures, open to different people, regardless of background, heritage, status, and whatnot. Because like they don't come from money either, so they always just taught us to like lead with love. And my grandpa, who left from Haiti back in the '60s and then brought all my family over, he's like very strong on that. Like he says, like it don't matter where people come from, like always show kindness first, and like you'll receive the same back. And like if people don't act the same back, then just take a step back. But like show generosity, show kindness, and like you're gonna receive, and you're gonna be guided by Most High. And like my grandpa turning 83 or 84 this year, and like he still live on those same principles. When I talk to him, he's in Miami, and like he's a really cool dude who's been through a lot in his life. And like I could tell that him and my grandma, who passed away unfortunately, they were always helping. They were always giving an open hand, and like when they was in Brooklyn, they would open up the door for people that had less, and like was just always very hardworking, like good hearted people. And like I could tell that was passed on, and like I stand on that, and I believe love wins over hate. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we need in this life, especially during this time. It's so much stuff going on where we need more positivity, we need more like-minded people. If we unify as a people, us, all of us, so much we could do. So that starts with like kindness and love and like unifying. And I was saying this at service on Sunday, like empowering each other through the differences that we have instead of like separating each other. But like we could learn so much from each other instead of like, nah, you're different because you're from this side or this side. Like, nah, we all same at the end of the day. We human. We got a heart. We got a soul, and like we can build on that.
Yes, sir.
To your point, we can all definitely get better from that. We can all build together. Now, how do you engage with people who don't really see it in that same light? Again, you're very optimistic, very positive. Um, Again, I'm not a native of Chicago, but from outside looking in, when I think about a lot of my counterparts outside of James, AGDF, the positive role models, right? I know a lot of young bucks that don't align with that energy, right? It's more so the op, it's very combative. How do you engage with people who are combative and may not, see it in that same light and aren't as positive, right?
Yes, sir. That's a great question. And again, on Sunday, I mentioned the same thing at service. Like one of my goals for this year, and like it's a continuous practice, is like first not taking things personal, and then like trying to look at things where it's like I said a perfect example, like looking at a person and not like judging them, but like trying to understand like they might have gone through a lot of stuff for them to get to this point in their life. And then I mentioned like we could be on a train right now, James. You know CTA in the city, you see all types of crazy stuff going on,
Yep.
especially when you're in the red line, when you're in the green line, and someone can say something really off to you or be disrespectful, and like you could really be offensive, like offended by what they say. But like I'm learning to look at it in a way where it's like this brother, this sister, this person must have gone through a lot to get into this position. Like they was probably going through trauma, through oppression. The environment probably was not the most supportive, so they feeling like that because systematically they've been pushed down, they've been not held accountable, they've been not having the same access and resources. So understanding people from that lens and like trying to see how we can make them feel understood and at the same time be there for each other because we got way too many people in our corner in our community that's from backgrounds that are less privileged, less fortunate. So I feel like we should understand each other for that and see how we can help each other through that.
Yeah, I agree. And then Marcus, just kind of piggybacking off of Sydney, it's more like vibrant people and people that's operating in abundance than it is people that's not. Like you do have those couple, rotten apples, but it's not as many as you might think, man. Because a lot of people, man, they just click up. They do the things with the people that they like to do it with. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know, entrepreneurs hang out with entrepreneurs. People that's doing bad things hang out with people doing bad things. But I do think like it's a shift that's occurring because people want more, man, and they realize that the way to it is just by being grateful. Like I've literally seen more young bucks meditating than I've ever seen, bro. I've seen more young bucks praying than I ever seen, and it's dope, bro. It's phenomenal. And just from the restorative practice standpoint, like we in circle with the kids, bro. So we hearing the things that they're dealing with on a daily basis, and all pain is the same. It's just painted differently. So like Sydney said, man, just understanding that a person probably just went through some stuff. That's why they are the way that they are today. But understand, we all one. We all human. Just respect them as they come and keep moving forward.
Definitely, definitely. And again, I can relate. I think I was really just trying to paint more of a picture, but at the same time, I know there is a lot of youth or individuals who have problems kind of letting go of things, right? So you may get the blowback or the smoke because somebody's having that bad day. So again, I love your positive energy. I think it's extremely radiant, but I know there may be a time and point where you're coming across somebody who may not align with it. And again, I'm just kind of wondering more so from like one of our viewers' perspective, right? If they're just vibrant, everything is going well. They're trying to push that positive energy on others that aren't as receptive. I just want to know if you have any specific game for them. If there is, an interaction with somebody where you're trying to pour into them, you're trying to kind of love on them, and they're kind of, kind of pushing away or they're rejecting you. How do you do that? Because again, you have a very unique energy and aura about you. Again, kind of hearing your story,
Thank
doing a
you.
little bit of digging, like I love it, but I know everybody might not love it. They may be like, "Is this real? Is it
Yeah,
genuine?" Right? I
that's
know
real.
we all know that one
That's real.
individual who is like overly bubbly. We be like, "Damn, like is this really them?" You know, like for me, that's my LB, and it took me time to learn and to grow and to see the family structure to be like, "Oh, this really is him." His father's in that same light, right? But you may engage with people on a day to day interaction where you're not giving them the time to meet the mom and get that backstory in more depth. So I'm just wondering kind of what did those brief interactions look like for you if somebody isn't really aligning with your energy at that time.
I try to meet people honestly where they at. Like I've been around youth that last week I trained one of my guys' little brother or cousin actually, and he was talking about some of his guys got just locked up in the jam. They 18 years in there now, and I'm trying to understand the brother where he's coming from. I'll tell him some stories that I can relate to. When I was in high school, one of my teammates got shot, and I'm telling him like, "Yo, bro, I understand the struggle. I understand the trenches, and like I try to just make them feel understood. Where it's like, this shit's fucked up. Sorry, I don't know what
No,
language is
you
on
all
on the
good. You
Good.
pod.
all
We here
good.
for
This
that.
shit's fucked up. I
Yeah.
know where you're coming from, and like I try to really just meet them where they at, and like if they don't want to receive the positive energy, that's perfectly cool because I understand that too. Not everyone's gonna be receptive of that, but then I just try to like comfort them in a way where I can just make them feel understood and like meet them where they at. Like, oh shit, if you just want to sit here and chop it up, we could do that. Or if you want to journal, we could write shit down. Or like if you want to just be quiet, we can sit in silence. Like I try to just make them feel understood where I'm not trying to force nothing on them, but like still make them feel like they part of like what we got going on.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it makes sense. Now I also know you have like the athletic background as well. So those are a lot of other ways that there's some parallels you can relate to some of the youth. So I want to hear a little bit more about like the yogaletics. Like what does that kind of consist of? I think I understand just kind of from hearing the two terms morph, but like tell me more about that. That's an interesting concept.
Yes, sir. So growing up, like I was saying earlier, I've always been in sports. I played basketball growing up. Football is what brought me to college. That's really was like my first love. Skateboarding, tennis, golfing. Like my mom really put us into a lot of different sports. So she was like, "We're gonna put y'all in all types of sports so y'all can figure out what y'all want to rock with." And like football really stuck with me. I started when I was at 14, and football come with a lot of strength and conditioning, speed and agility. Like a very versatile sport. I feel like when in terms of athletic performance. And then when I got to college, I slipped my disc and I went through multiple injuries growing up. Like I broke my leg, broke both my arms, my nose,
Mm.
my finger, slipped my disc, multiple
Yeah.
injuries, MCL sprain. And then my sophomore year, the doctor was like, "Yo, like you're 21 and you're not supposed to have no back problems. Like either we're gonna have to do surgery on you or you gotta start stretching every day." And I didn't want to do surgery. I already had surgery for my leg before, for both my arms. And then I found out they had like a free yoga class on campus for us. So I started going there every Wednesday. I was just talking to my friend about this because people ask me like, "How'd you get into yoga?" Literally being in football and like making sure I'd be healthy for the season. So I went to off season. I went to yoga every week, and it really helped me a lot. And it started like making me understand like, yo, this is way more than physical. Like it really taps you into your mind and your soul. Like the first couple sessions, I'd be in there and I'm sweating like I had a 2 hour workout. I'm like, where's this coming from? And it's like I start understanding it's like emotional trauma I had on me and like mental disconnections and stuff. So it really unlocked things with me. Where I'm like, damn, this is so much more than physical. And like I took the practice with me, and it's 7, 8 years now, and I've been practicing consistently. And I can say it really helped me in so many ways. Tapped me into my faith more, tapped me into my mind and my spirit more. And now I realize like when I do it for the community, they receive it really well too. And I believe we can heal our people through that, through tapping into the physical. And then you release endorphins, you become really uplifted when you work out. That's one thing too. When I'm with the youth and I start getting their body moving, their real personalities start coming out. They start joking around, they start being cool and everything. And that's when you can tap in and like plant those seeds. But like, yeah, that's how I started Yogaletics. I did my community workouts, and then I was like, I gotta put a name to this. Athletic training, because that's my A&O, that's my baby, and then yoga, because I started doing that for 7 years now. Yogaletics, yoga and athletic training. So that's how I came up with the name, and it's being received really well. And I'm very grateful that I'm able to do this and add value to our community with Yogaletics.
Yeah, man, that's phenomenal, bro. That's phenomenal, man. It's crazy because I constantly hear the benefit of yoga, but it's just one of those things where I'm so antsy, man. I know I could benefit from it, but I feel like I'm gonna ask you: do you think like a regular person could just like watch a video and do it, or should they go in person to like an actual instructor and have like be a part of a class? Like, which one do you think is more? Well, obviously, I think in person, but what do you think?
I definitely think like for someone that wants to like, get out of their comfort zone first time, it should be a class and like an instructor that you kind of resonate with. Like I'd love to like bring you to like one of our Black men's healing yoga sessions, and I feel like you'd be like really comfortable in the environment because it's like brothers that look like us. They all between their 20s and 30s, and like it's not the oh what are you doing here? It's more like hey bro, welcome man, come welcome to the space. Like if this is your first time, enjoy and like just fill it out, do whatever you feel like is right for you, and like it's really like it's cool and it's a community in a sense of like black men being there for each other and empowering each other and like changing the narrative of like, oh, we gotta just always be tough, but like, nah, this actually help us. We need this just as much as other people. It's a whole narrative that's being pushed. It's only for certain people and like it's gay if you do this and that. Nah, it's not at all. Like all pro athletes are doing it. Our people do it. We supposed to be doing it and pushing it more on each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, do you stretch every day still? I know you said kind of at one point in the midst of your injuries. Do you stretch every day still?
Yes. Definitely, yeah. I want to say I've gotten really far from this point, like how flexible I am, but there's still like so much to unlock. So like to me, my goal is to just keep going and like really being mobile and flexible and like in my whole body.
Hmm. Well, I remember I was kind of hearing your story about like the sweating and them
Yeah.
putting you through the workout in the ringer. Man, we had this was middle school football. We were kind of talking stuff playfully to like the cheerleaders. They was like, we was like cheering not a sport. They was like, well, you can't do half we do, bro. When I tell you they got us out there and stretched the crap out of us, bro. I'm talking about I was so hurt. So, nah, to your point, nah, it is beyond vital, and that was one of the pieces of feedback I got. I ain't done a lot of injuries you do, good brother. I'm sorry to hear that, but my MCL, my ACL dislocated, my knee turned, my quad. One of the pieces of
Mm,
feedback gave me was like, "Do you ever stretch?" And I was like, "Nah, like that's
mm-hmm.
light." But now, the older I get, I realize how vital it is to stretch, and I actually make sure I make time before I go to sleep or when I wake up to stretch. And I just noticed just the difference. I'm just so much more loose, so much more fluid. But I wish a lot of us would learn at our earlier ages, so we could continue to maintain that performance and not wait till we get on the other side with all these injuries in play.
That's 100%. I agree, man. It's really at this point I'm like you stretch your body, you stretch your mind, you create more space for more good things to come in. It's like it's mind, body, soul is really connected. So I feel you on that 100%.
Yeah. Oh, you got it, Marcus.
Yeah, so you do the yoga and the athletic component. Now, do you work with like eating and like that, taking in proper things too? I thought I heard you kind of hit on some of those earlier.
So I've been a pescatarian for 4 years now. This summer's about
Mm.
to be five
Come on.
years. I like to just like dabble into different things with my diet, but like I definitely understand and believe that like foods have frequency too. So like what you put in
Mhm.
your body is also like an energy and a frequency. Like fruits and vegetables have like higher energy. So like you're bound to be more uplifted. Like when you wake up, you drink a glass of water and eat some fresh fruit, you'll feel better than like if you wake up and you eat like a fried food right away. Like you can really tell the difference of what frequency you put in your body. So like I'm definitely cautious and like I'm learning more and like the goal down the line is like to have my wife and be vegan down the line for sure. But like I like to take it step by step, like because it's definitely it's challenging to switch up your diet, but like I feel like you could definitely step by step. I like to say increase healthy habits and like decrease unhealthy habits. And like I've been like on the pescatarian wave for a couple years now, so I've been like no meat, and like it's been really like I say I wake up and I'm more energized and more uplifted, and like down the line seeing even more I could like add that and like fasting is also part of my routine and just seeing like how the mind functions when like the system is like clear and stuff.
So you talked about fasting, you talked about the veggies. What advice would you have for somebody who like knows they need to take that step, right? And again, I'll just kind of speak from my experience. Like last time I went to the doctor, they was like, "Hey, you may be pre-diabetic if XYZ continues," things of that nature. We hear that oftentimes in our culture, right? Just because of we know what we know what Christmas dinner gonna look like. We know what Thanksgiving dinner gonna look like, right? And we're all looking forward to it. But it's like, what's on the other side of that? So my question to you is like, what helped you kind of take that first step, and again, I know you have a unique background, but like what advice would you have to somebody who's like, I want to do better, but that chicken is busting, like how can we how can we override that mentality? What does that look like?
I love to tell my clients like you it's hard to go cold turkey right away, like in moderation. Like let's say Monday through Wednesday, hold yourself accountable. Try to eat the healthy foods that we're suggesting you. Try to tap more into your vegetables, into your fruits, and have some quinoa, some rice. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, treat yourself with the junk. And then down the line, make it Monday to Thursday, and then Monday to Friday, to the point where like you're working hard throughout the whole week. You're staying on top of your health. You're staying on top of your work stuff. You're staying on top of your readings and everything. And then on the weekends, I bet I worked hard the whole weekend, the whole week. And let me treat myself with some chicken that's busting. And then your body like gets used to it, and like your metabolism is healthier, so now I can like process it better. And like it's okay then to keep it in moderation. But if we do it every day, it's not the best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's real. That's real, man. Cause I started off the new year trying to like count calories, like count macros, bro. And
How
it's
that
one of
go?
bro, it's one of the most challenging things ever. And but it's actually eye opening too, because you don't realize the amount of calories and how we overconsume food, bro. Um, because I like peanuts, bro. Like I eat peanuts, sunflower seeds, cat like all of it, right? And I literally weighed a serving of peanuts, and the amount that it was, I was like, bro, I ain't gonna lie, I probably ate 6 times this amount in a sitting. Like just being real, because I like peanuts. So I was like, that's not good. So it just made me super conscious. Like, man, all right, I got to switch this up. But I think in any change that people want to make, if you ever read Think and Grow Rich, the first principle is desire. I think whatever it is, the person has to want to change. And it's definitely hard to change anything cold turkey, but I think if the desire is strong enough, if you want it hard enough, like you will go through hell and high water to make that change. So for me, going into 2024, I was like, health and wellness is my move. Like I know I talk it a lot, but I got kind of back it up. So I started counting the calories, like I said, and then we talked offline, Marcus. I became that a fitness ambassador for Lift Life. So I'm like,
Hey,
I gotta do what
good
I gotta
stuff.
do.
Well,
Really,
you got to hit that button for that,
yeah,
James.
you're
Come on,
right.
boy. You
Yeah, I
got to
said
hit
you're
that.
right.
Yeah.
You're right, man. My bad.
Yeah.
But the whole point of me saying that is that like it starts with the person. No matter what, bro. Like as mentors, like we cannot like make another person strong. We can empower them, but we can't make them strong. So it's up to that person to strengthen themselves in a sense. So just kind of pivoting a little bit, Sidney. You talked about like always playing sports growing up. I saw that you played for the German national football team. What was that experience like?
Yes, sir. So growing up in Germany, football wasn't too big yet, and like my brother, he was going to UMass, and when he came back, he was like, "Yo, we got to find like a football program here in the U.S. In Germany." And my mom found like a football team that's because sports and football is not sports and education is not connected over there. So you have
Okay.
to go like outside of school. You have to go to like sports programs, and we found a football team that's like an hour away from where we lived at. And like I went to the first practice, and like I fell in love with it right away. Like I was like, this is my thing. Like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And like I started going consistently to practice, and I was recruited to then play for the Bavarian All-Star team. So it's like a state in Germany, Bavaria. There's like 10 different states, and I got nominated to play for the All-Star team. And then we went to the German Championship. This was like in 2011, 2012, and they had scouts out there for the German national team who like create a roster like the 60 best players of all the states. And I caught the game-winning interception for the German championship. And then the scouts hit me up after that, me and two other of my guys, and one of them actually ended up playing for the Ravens on the practice squad too, which is really
Dang.
cool. He came from overseas, my Nigerian homie. And then, anyways, they had recruited me and two of my other homies to play for the German national team, and we got to like travel to different states, and we got to like be part of the whole like 52-man roster and everything, and it was really really dope, the whole experience. And like I traveled with them, and then unfortunately because I don't have the German citizenship, I wasn't able to partake in the game, but I was with the team the whole time. Being that I don't have the citizenship, I wasn't able to step on the field because I'm not a German citizen. You get what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
like I was part of the team, traveling with them. I'm on the roster. You look it up to this day. You see pictures of us. We playing against different teams, against
Yeah.
Austria, against Denmark. Like it's really cool, and like they play against Team USA and everything. And then when I like found out, I'm like, okay, like this is really like what's keeping me on the right track, and like football is really helping me become a better person and be around the right people. I'm like, I want to move to the U.S., move to my aunts in Miami, and like go to high school, graduate there, and then go get scouted to play college ball. And that's why I moved to Miami to live with my family, and then I was recruited to go play in Chicago.
Mm.
So you played pro ball in high school?
You mean in Germany or in Miami?
In Germany? You were in high school doing that?
I was in high school. Yeah, I was in high school. I
Yeah.
played the U19, so under 19 national team.
Dang, that's love. That.
Yeah.
And what position were you?
Corner,
Corner.
defensive back. Played a little bit of receiver over there too, but once I came to the US, I stick with DB. And then in college, I played a little bit of nickel too, but mainly corner.
Versatile. Now, how did kind of that experience transition from you coming from Germany now coming back to the U.S. and kind of playing as well too?
Man, it's such a culture shock and like so many dope experiences because I really could say like me and my guys over there, we like lived and breathed football. Like we'd watch Ray Lewis and Ed Reed every day. Just the college pump ups on YouTube. We would study those every day. We like, man, like this is our dream. This is what we want to do. And like I really found so much like faith and like love through football and like just camaraderie and just like the whole culture that come with football. So when I then moved to Florida, it's one of the football states with like Texas
Yep.
and California.
Mhm.
I was like put right into the melting pot of like where people go for it every day to go get that D1 and then go play pro. And like my peoples are from like North Miami and like Miramar, so they from the trenches out there too. And then I went to high school out there, so I got like the full experience of like what it's like to like get after it every day. We in the beach working out for 2 hours. We after practice and like I'm playing with guys that's getting like full rides to like some of the top schools. And like I loved it. I lived for it every day. And like football really changed me in so many ways. So I'm so grateful for the game every day. And like, yeah, I could say it was definitely supposed to happen for me like that. And like, yeah, much love to football for real, for real.
Yeah, that's super dope, man. We got a lot of football players in our network. I want to backtrack real quick. You said you weren't a German citizen. So where were you born?
I was born in Germany, but my pops is actually from Denmark. Denmark's in north of Europe. It's in Scandinavia. So I have a dual citizenship, Danish and U.S. citizenship. But my mom's from Haiti and my dad's from Denmark. But they met in Germany after what had happened with my brother's father. But I have like
Gotcha.
the allowance to like live in Germany because I was born there and I went through the education system there. But nationality wise, I'm Danish and U.S. citizen.
Got you. Man, you learn something new
So
every
it's,
day,
it's a
man.
lot of different like cultures and like
Yeah.
mixes of like yeah.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to you, man. But no, I appreciate that because I didn't have that awareness. But man, you talk about how football kind of changed your life. Did you have like any NFL aspirations, anything like that?
Definitely. That was honestly like even me being in Germany, that was my goal, like to go play college ball and go to the NFL. And like I was like that was my vision and goal till I was in college. And also was around a lot of guys that went to the NFL and I got some people in the league. But I want to say like my college experience was kind of tough going to like a Division III program and like seeing like how politics is involved in sports and like when you're not at the highest level, you really can go through a lot of different things. And like I don't share my story too much in college, but I could say like, and Cody can vouch for this, and some other teammates like going to the D3 program, you'll really see like favoritism and like
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately also like racism in our program. Like our coach really was like playing minimal people of color, if you get what I'm saying, was playing a lot of the guys that was from the cornfields was on some like, okay, we're gonna play these guys first because then they can get their college experience, and we're
Yeah.
not gonna play these guys. And he even got fired like throughout my third year in college because we stood up during the whole Black Lives Matter movement in 2016 when Donald Trump was voted. This is deep, but actually I'm supposed to share this because people need to hear this. In 2016, when Donald Trump was promoted to president and like the Black Lives Matter movement started, one of our teammates after practice, we all huddled together. And, we do the prayer after practice and we all huddle up and like, chant and stuff. He wanted to get up in front of the team. He's like, hey, just so we can clear this up, there's a lot of things going on right now in society. And like with Donald Trump being in office right now, a lot of divide is happening. Us as teammates, we need to make sure that that can't get between us because we had a season in front of us and we have a lot of guys from all over the country and then like a lot of also Midwestern dudes, if you get what I'm saying, that's like all
Mm-hmm.
in one team, and there was already kind of a divide. And like he got up and said that in front of the whole team respectfully. We was all with him, and our coach interrupted him and said, "Oh, we don't have time for that crap right now." And like he was a very conservative dude that was like already everyone know like the way he's playing, like his favoritism, he's only playing certain people. He said that in front of all of us, and like all us brothers, we look at each other and it's like you get hit in your heart. We're like, what this man just say? Like he just basically disrespected and tried all of us, and we all looking at each other and we like, nah, we got to get together as a team and like talk about this. So all of us brothers got together after that. We went to the sports director and we told him about what had happened. He came out to the field. The coach had to officially apologize to us, and he said, okay, I'm going to apologize to y'all and I'm going to bring the whole team together so we can like educate ourselves on what I said that's not right. He never did that. He never followed up with that. We had a complete losing season for 3 years. He was really only playing on each side of the ball. It's two brothers playing, but we have so much talent on the whole team. It's crazy. Like so much guys that's supposed to go to the league, that's supposed to go overseas, but he was only playing certain people so they can graduate and then say, I was a star in college and stuff. Like just a lot of stuff. And like I get really passionate about this because I really had a lot of dreams. My goal was to go to the NFL, create a platform, and then raise awareness through that platform. Like that's why I got inspired through Kaepernick's story a lot too, because I was like, I'm gonna go to the league and I'm gonna use this platform to raise awareness and share love and peace with the people. And he held a lot of us back from that. And like you can look it up right now. He was fired in 2017. Coach Conway, that was his name, and he got fired after that because then the school started realizing too, like, okay, it's too obvious. Like this man really like pushing an agenda and stuff, and like he really politics and favoritism. And like then I realized, okay, I started getting a lot into community organizing in college, and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of different opportunities. I love sports. I'm a coach naturally. I was already coaching guys in school and in college and stuff. And I was like, I got my sports management degree in marketing. I'm in Chicago. That's the reason why I wanted to stay in the city too, because I was like, if Plan A don't work, Plan B and C gonna work, because there's gonna be opportunities in the city. This is a global city. I know how to get around. I'm gonna figure it out. And then junior year hit. I went through a lot of injuries. He wasn't playing the guys and stuff. I'm like, all right, I gotta lock in on my other stuff. And then I graduated Dean's List, got a fire degree, and like still doing my community work. And now I'm seeing God wanted me to be more than just an athlete. He wanted me to be an athlete with a voice. And that's why I like telling brothers too now. We're not just athletes, we athletes with voices. And we gotta use our voice. And like it hit me deep because it's really part of the story. But like I'm understanding what's supposed to happen like this, and like now I'm in a position where I can help our people through health and wellness, and not just an athlete, but like an athlete with a voice that's helping our community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hold on. We gotta hit the.
Yeah,
We gotta hit the.
yeah.
He said, man, we not just athletes, man. We
Respect, man.
athlete with voices, man. That's dope. That's dope.
Oftentimes we think we understand, but it takes time to sit, reflect, and understand, right? And
Mm.
I can hear, I heard you connecting the dots. And bro, believe it or not, I got a similar story to an extent, man. Like all the injuries, all that good stuff. But I realized the guy had something else planned. And
Yes, sir.
oftentimes I was so blinded by that one vision that I didn't see what else was, on the other side. And now, bro, you're able to bring something to a realm and a community that may have not ever been exposed to that if you weren't here, bro. So you're still feeling your passion. You're still able to relate to them because a lot of them are a younger you who are so stuck tunnel vision on that. But again, my coach used to always say, you're a student athlete. If you aren't in school, if you aren't a student, you can't be an athlete for us. And that's something I
Mm.
really held near and dear. So regardless of all the bangs and bruises with the injuries, I'm smart as hell, right? And I can
Yes,
apply this
sir.
to maneuver in all these other arenas and realms. But sometimes it takes us to be humbled for a horrible coach, for injuries, for something of that nature to, you again, kind of expose us to that other side. So again, man, you're right where you need to be, bro. And I appreciate you sharing that, because that's going to resonate with a lot of people who feel that my plan A didn't work. Now no, your plan B was your plan A, right? So I
So
resonate
thank
with
you
that
for
more than you know. Yeah, yeah. Respect.
Yeah, man. It's all about
thank you,
pivot.
man.
Yeah. We appreciate you, Sidney, man. It's about pivoting, bro. It's about pivoting. Um, man, I wanna talk a little bit about your experience in Mexico with a Greater Good Foundation and my Mi Casa Su Casa holiday. How was that? What was that about? Or how was that?
Man, that was such a cool experience, man. Shout out to Chuck. Shout out to Cody. Shout out to AGGF, to y'all for really bringing me out there to Mexico with y'all. It was so dope. So we went there in October, and Mikasa Sukasa is like a techno festival that goes on for like a whole
Yeah.
week, like a house music, good vibes, family festival. And AGGF was invited out there to add value through holistic health and wellness. And Cody and myself have been connected for the last half a year prior to that, and like he's been going to my Yogaletics events. He's like, man, I really like what you're doing. Like, we'd love for you to come out with us to Mexico and like lead a yoga session out there and represent AGGF with us, and also highlight Yogaletics. So I was blessed to go out there with the guys and just experience the whole vibe out there, and like just meet cool people that's from all over the world, that's for music, that's for health, that's for wellness. And then we had like a whole 2-3 hour segment where we just got people together by the beach at this beautiful venue, and we just did like a yoga session together, and we spoke about holistic wellness. We did like a restorative justice circle, and the guys shared their piece, and like it was really cool. And like I got to lead like a 20-minute yoga session, and we all got like those lanyards with like our names on it. Like it was real
Yeah.
legit. Like it was really cool. Like VIP passes to different stages and venues. So it was really dope. And like being in Mexico, out the country, was amazing. Like the people really cool there, and like I feel like they're really accepting of us there. Like it was amazing. It was so grateful for that experience, man.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go, man. Me and Marcus was at we was at the crib recording the podcast, man. So,
Respect.
but
Yeah.
We got to
that
go next year, man.
man, yes sir, man. But that's just dope, man. It just kind of speaks value. But there's a principle. Kind of talking to Cody about you. He said you a lot of times in the nonprofit work, we say people have time, they give us their time, their talent, and their treasure. But you've kind of invented a different type of capital, which is the capital of language. Kind of talk about where that came from, because I know you're also fluent in a couple languages too. So when did you realize the importance of language?
Mm.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it's a really good question. Like when did I realize the importance? So growing up, I was in a French school. My mom put me and my brothers in a French school out there in Germany because she wanted us to be able to talk French to our people because they're from Haiti and they speak Creole. So Creole is a mix of African and French. And when you speak French, you can understand Creole, vice versa. Like my people, when they speak Creole, I can understand a lot of what they're saying. So it was very important for her to stay connected to our culture and root. So she put us in a French school out there. And then German is the language of like the locals there, and she spoke English to us. So I was raised like in a bilingual household, and we went to French school out there. And like growing up, going through school out there too, like I realized like okay, we had French classes. Like I was doing good in school because I've had the advantage of speaking different languages, so that helped me a lot through education. And then traveling a lot, like going to Spanish country like Mexico, I can understand good amount of what they're saying because it's similar to French. I'm like, okay, this is really helpful. Like, I need to expand on this more. And like just talking to other folks in different environments and different communities, like you can resonate in a lot of different ways because like you have a different understanding of linguistics and like you're like, okay, like this connects in a lot of different ways and like there's similarities and there's differences, but like yeah, I just feel like it's been a very like helpful tool and like going to college and meeting people that are international. Like it was very cool to connect with them on that level when you could talk to different people in different languages.
How
Facts.
many different languages do you speak?
I speak German, English, and French.
Hmm. I think that allows you again, like in the beginning, I heard you talk about like everybody's connected, that interconnected component. The fact that you speak those different languages, you're able to kind of maneuver throughout their culture, and you're able to engage with them from something that's relatable that allows you to then interconnect. So I'm seeing how that kind of ties into your whole thought process philosophy. So that's good. James, what were you about to say, bro?
No, man, I was just about to say, man, a lot of times we as people, like when people come over to the US, like we want them to learn English. Like we want them to adjust to us. But one of my brothers, well, Chuck, Chuck says like, man, he's now trying to study Spanish so that, he now is like, all right, if I encounter, someone from anywhere that speaks Spanish, like I want to be able to have a conversation in their native language versus, all right, you got to adapt to the language that I speak. And I think that's the way to go about it, bro. But I think if in the U.S. as kids, like in elementary, if you were taking Spanish, like different languages, I think more people would be fluent in other languages. But I think the fact that it's not until you get to high school you start doing it we're behind the ball at that point. You've already gotten kind of stuck in your ways at this point. But man, shout out to you, Sidney, man. We appreciate you blessing the podcast. We
Thank you.
do appreciate it, man. Sharing your story is super dope and inspiring, I'm sure, to a lot of our listeners. But Marcus, you got anything else for Sydney?
Nah, Sydney, you said a lot, man. I'm definitely inspired by the story. I think there's a lot of gems and just insight you provided to a lot of the young men on the podcast, the older men, the women. I think everybody definitely can receive some gems if they're able to really apply what you said today. My biggest thing is just what would you say to your younger self today to help you maneuver through some of the nuances and obstacles you faced that now kind of you have that hindsight vision of?
Mm. I want to say like a couple like mantras that like I still live by this day is like trust the process. Very big on that. Stay around the right people. Like make sure you have an environment around you with like-minded people that want good for you, and like faith over fear, man. Don't be afraid to take risks. Bet on yourself. It's not always gonna be nice, and not everything gonna always be good. But like even through the hardships, you can learn lessons and like take the lessons from that. So like changing your perspective on a lot of different things and like having like a winner mentality even when things are hard. Like yeah, mind over matter.
That's good. That's good. Man, lastly, man, if people want to tap in with you, they want to connect with you, maybe they want to come out to a yoga event, like how can people connect with you?
Yes, sir. I'd love for people to follow me on Yogaletics. That's on Instagram. That's my business page. That's where we host all our community workouts. We do bi-weekly events all across Chicago. Right now we're in Hasroom and at Healthy Hood Chicago. Those are like art and cooperative studios in the city that are really dope. They do a lot of community work as well. Same with Healthy Hood. They do a lot of great work in the community. I'm going to be at the Haitian American Museum at the end of the February too. It's going to be really dope. So follow me on Yogaletics, and then my private Instagram is linked to it too. It's Haitian Viking. But definitely tap in with Yogaletics. Come out, DM us if y'all got any questions, and keep staying healthy and mindful and leading with love, man. That's my message for today, y'all. Thank y'all, brothers, so
Yes,
much.
sir. Appreciate you, man.
Yes,
As always, let's grow together, family, man. You can follow myself, J Turner 0121. Please follow a Greater Good Foundation. Go ahead, follow my brother Marcus at
and you can
Mastermind.
tap in at
Yep.
mastermind_Marcus. But until next time, family, we'll see y'all soon. Thank you, family.
We appreciate you.
Peace, y'all.